I built a fully automated YouTube channel that posts AI generated music videos without me lifting a finger. And I didn't even realize it hit the watch hours needed to monetize 3,000 hours ago. In this video, I'm breaking down the top tips and tricks that made it possible, from lesser known N8N settings to re-encoding hacks to handling YouTube's copyright flags. So let's go. All right, so quick overview of the project. The automation is created in N8N, a local version specifically, and that's kind of key because we're going to be using it to access local files saved on our computer. The channel itself is now all automated, but it didn't start that way. Earlier videos I had kind of created manually, tried to figure out which AI to generate music from, which AI to generate images from, and basically what style of music. And basically when I kind of started noticing trends of like which types of videos were more popular, I realized like lo-fi was doing really well, classical was doing okay, some people had requested jazz. That's when I kind of let the automation take over. So the channel wasn't fully automated from the beginning, but now it is. And these are the technical tips that I came up with to get there along the way. One of the biggest gotchas that I ran into is your docker-compose YML, which is basically the startup file that sets everything up for your N8N to run locally. It must have this setting in the environment tab under N8N. If you don't have this setting, none of your YouTube nodes will work. So everything that you use to upload, so these upload nodes, they don't work without that one setting. And that was a huge gotcha for me because I really was banging my head against the wall trying to figure out why these upload nodes wouldn't work. Even if you put in your credentials and everything else, that was just, that setting by itself enables it. So just make sure you have this set to file system. The second kind of big gotcha I got was, make sure that you are using a AI music streaming service or music creation service that won't conflict with copyright. So as soon as I monetized or qualified to monetize, I started getting these emails from my videos that said copyright content has been detected. And then about 5 minutes or so later, it would say the copyright claim was released. And that's just because I actually did pay for my service. I happen to use SoundDraw for these videos, but I think going forward in the future, I will use other ones because SoundDraw, the music kind of, you could really see their whatever algorithm or whatever that they're using becomes very obvious and the music starts to get a little bit repetitive. So whichever music generation you end up using, just check the copyright issue just to make sure that you are safe to use it on a YouTube channel. You don't want to set it up, get to your 4,000 hours to monetize, and then find out you're violating some kind of copyright claim. So just check ahead of time before you create your channel. For number 3, mounting your volumes in N8N. In other words, when you use a local version of N8N, you're basically able to load folders so that N8N can access it. And this is extremely, extremely powerful, especially when you just want a folder that has, 1,000 clips and you just want to access them, pull a couple of them every time. This is the perfect workflow for that. And you can load them into a local version of N8N, and it's so powerful, guys. So you do that by adding them into your Docker Compose, setting the file that you want to access, and then a colon, and then putting the name of basically like this is the shortcut that you're going to refer to in N8N. This is extremely powerful, and I will definitely be using these in the future for all my local N8N builds. Because you're using your local computer, you can also batch a lot of things. And what I mean by that is you can run the same code over all of your videos. So I have something like 1,000 video clips something like that, that I use for my videos. This is the batch script that I use to run it on all of them so that they are all the same. So that they are all the same resolution and frame rate. And that's really important because if they are all the same resolution and frame rate, when you generate your videos, it's way, way, way faster. So make sure that you pre-process them and you're using batch scripts to do that. Now that you have your volumes mounted and you can access them, you're going to want to shuffle them because you don't want them to be in the same order every time you create a video. But you could do that right in N8N with some code. So use your code to just shuffle up videos at random, and that will take you really far into creating new versions every time. So by default, N8N doesn't have a YouTube thumbnail editing node. So there's no way, like even the YouTube upload has no option for thumbnails. There's a bunch of YouTube nodes, at least at the time of this recording. You can see all the nodes here, but none of them allow you to update or add a thumbnail, which is ridiculous, actually. So you actually still can do it though by creating a custom HTTP request node. So as long as you use this address, you can set your thumbnail by uploading it first. So we upload it here, just a random read-write file. I have a code node that shuffles it. So it loads a bunch of thumbnails, then shuffles and chooses one at random. And then we use that node to upload. So it is possible. You just have to make your own custom HTTP request. The other tip is to use merge nodes. This may not be super obvious to new users, but sometimes your node, for example, like I have this node that posts a thumbnail, it needs to be wired directly into certain nodes in order to get access to like their data. And although this one isn't live right now, it had to access the YouTube ID and the binary file from the thumbnail. So in order to get access to both, you can use a merge node, set it to combined. That was not super obvious to me the first time I did that. So this particular automation actually has no subscriptions at all. And part of what makes that really possible is we're using open sourced LLMs through the Ollama node. And that gives you, this is generating all my titles dynamically, uniquely every time. It's also generating my descriptions and my hashtags. So without any subscription, I don't need an open AI subscription or anything. This is all done with open sourced Ollama compatible LLMs. So those were some of my useful tricks I discovered while building a fully automated YouTube music channel, from fixing node connection issues to optimizing media with pre-processing scripts to dodging YouTube copyright flags. If you want to download the full working N8N workflow, my Docker compose.yml, or the batch script that I use to pre-process all these videos, I've made everything available on my brand new Patreon. Link is in the description. And if you're just getting started with N8N Local, I've got a full step-by-step tutorial on how to set it up from scratch. You will find that linked on the next screen. So be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.